Hello everyone who's ever wanted to fly vertically, horizontally, sideways, forwards and backwards with technology. I am BorderWise and welcome to From the Depths and another Let's Build, because I felt like it. Whenever I don't feel like talking, I procrastinate the talky bit and then I do the not talky bit first. Great way to do things. Anyway, we're building a plasma-armed helicopter today because, well, I felt like it. I looked at my to-do list and thought to myself, I don't feel like doing any of these. What else can we do? What's the thing I can build? Well, as it turns out, the custom campaign that I'm working on, or more accurately, the whole, a whole community of people is working on it, and I'm kind of just there. It's about time I started building stuff for that. So this is going to be a helicopter gunship, but it's going to be, I'm not sure what the technical term is for it. It's when there's a gun pointing out the side, and so don't think like an Apache or something like that. Think more like an Iroquois with like a chain gun, pointing out the side to be kind of like fire support or something like that. That's the idea, except it's going to be a plasma gun. And I'm actually pleased with how this turned out so far. Not finished, so this is definitely a part 1 of at least 2. And yeah, so I was just in a helicopter mood. I thought, you know what? I don't build enough helicopters in From the Depths, and here's the thing. I really like helicopters. It's one of those things that you look at it and it's like, this thing should not be able to fly. What the hell is this? And yeah, so this, for the people who know about the factions in the custom campaign, there's 5 in total, and this helicopter is either going to be with the Sewol Republic or the Clacave Dominion. So the Sewol Republic is basically Steel Striders, or at least that's what it feels like. Their gimmick is that every vehicle has a sub-vehicle, which probably means this is going to be Clacave, because it just occurred to me that I can't remember Well, I have no idea what sub-vehicle could possibly be paired with this helicopter, unless it spawns in a squad, and it's a little bit too big for that. And yeah, this is where I find out that, yeah, actually, this is what I want. Destabilized plasma is not the most useful form of plasma, but it is super satisfying. And it's got that real, fire support kind of thing. Like, this helicopter is supposed to spawn in and, just wreck shop, so to speak. Might even, I should put deco on the thing and just make it like a troop carrier or something. It'd be really cool. Anyway, so there's method to my madness here, and I'm trying to plan ahead more than I usually do, and I think it's paid off. So, you see I'm hopping back and forth between the regular designer and the land designer. The reason I'm in the land designer is that testing anything that requires power, I personally find is easier on a structure because, the numbers are, unambiguous. This thing requires no power to stay aloft, unlike a fortress, and so you can just kind of do stuff like that. It's also on a turret that's locked in position, and also, once again, thank you to the person who told me that you can just do that with a turret. You can just lock it in place by restricting the rotation speed to 0. And yeah, the reason for that is to put the local weapon controller, away from the plasma firing piece, or mantlet, I guess it's called. I've just forgotten what it's called. And that's just handy because it helps you protect the thing better, and means there's less vulnerable bits, right at the front. It does also mean there's a giant weak spot, a critical point of failure for the whole weapon system, but given the way that this thing's going to be a right-sider, by the way. It's just going to have this one plasma gun sticking out the side on the right side, and it's going to have an APS gun, which you'll see me design very soon. And it's also going to have torpedoes, because, with Clacave, I should have said, the Clacave Dominion, their whole shtick is that all their vehicles have, it's not that big a deal. All of their vehicles have at least 3 weapon systems, unless they spawn as part of a squadron. In which case, the squadron should have multiple weapon systems, but anyway. 3, honestly, doesn't... It's weird. 3 seems like too little to be, stand out or be interesting, but 4 is, too much, actually. So, especially for smaller vehicles. But, yeah, but when possible, it's just use as many different weapons as you can and make the thing as versatile as you can. Because that's their whole thing, is like they've like every single one of their craft kind of is generalist. Some people might say that's boring. I see it as a design challenge, and by gum people have risen up to it. The last live stream I did, showing off like, showing off and inspecting equal parts what people have made for the Glagave Dominion was just, it was lovely. People are so creative and just so good at building. And very exotic looking designs, which is like really good. I like to see that. Which means that stylistically they contrast with the Sewol Republic, which is their main rival. So I'm saying these words, like, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I do apologize. But yeah, that's what this thing is going to be for. That's the idea. It's like a Glagave gunship, because I don't think they have a helicopter or 3. But they could do with more, I reckon. So yeah, we're gonna have some more. And this is where I'm trying to, like, once again, trying to think ahead, because I'm looking at the dimensions of this plasma gun and thinking, like, alright, so what kind of APS can I squish in here? What kind of thing would fit in here? Because I don't want to go too big, and that is the problem with designs like this. It's a problem I tend to find I have if I build the internals first. Actually, no, that's a lie. It happens randomly. It's like, no, actually, never mind. I'm talking out my butt here. It's just like, it is something that is more likely to happen with me personally if I build the internals first, is that the resulting structure around the internals ends up being too big. This helicopter doesn't end up being, like, oversized. It is just kind of big for a heli. But it is going to be a very fast, evasive heli, so there is that. Also, I just remembered that we need to, like, put smoke and stuff on it, because that's important. Well, that's why there's going to be a part 2 to this. Whether I like it or not, whether you like it or not, so I really hope you like watching me build helicopters. Because, yeah, like, this helicopter is getting finished, dang it. It must be finished! It must! It must be finished! Boy! I'm going to put on my terrible Transylvanian vampire accent. See, now we're trying to experiment with what the shell should be. So the embarrassing thing here is that you'll notice that there's a little bit of rail draw on the UI, the shell preview, or the shell statistics, I should say. I forget about that completely, and so I should really re-save my testing fortress with that ammo, that, like, virtual ammo customizer, like, with the rail turned off, because, like, it's bamboozled me more than once now. And frankly, it's embarrassing. Also, fun tidbit for the future, I end up having to extend this turret neck anyway, so honestly, what is the point of measuring? Actually, there's a lot of point to measuring. And yes, this is going to be a CWIS, what you're witnessing right here. Not an amazing CWIS, because the whole idea is that this thing is going to drive like hell, and is also going to have a lot of missile interceptors on it. So this is just for the odd missile that gets a little bit too close. And you see, it goes brrr, like so. And any second now, I'm going to be confused by the muzzle velocity and just be like, oh no, oh no, oh no, I left the rail on. You know, I think I left the rail on. Anyway, so I just by sheer accident realized that I really like this barrel decoration. I think it's really cool. I think it's one of the recoil absorbers that Crams have. It just looks, I don't know, I just think it looks really groovy, mate. So there it is. And so we got this weird burp thing that happens here for a second, and then we settle down into rapid fire, and we fail to take out either of those missiles, and quite frankly, that's just not good enough. So this is where we start tweaking stuff. And this is me, like, hopefully managing to figure out that, bro, the muzzle velocity is not what you think it is. Come on. Come on, passport, otherwise you're going to realize this sooner or later. Alright, so no, this is where I actually try and use my brain for a little bit, because multiple people have told me that really I should be using traces. Oh, now I remember how I figured this out. And the trick is you don't need traces on every single shell. You just need to put it on, like, the first like, you know, just a few of your inputs so that every other shell or so, like, it flings out and there's a nice accuracy bonus to it. So that's very nice. And I think this is the point where I realize that... Aha! The shell speeds do not match. There's something funny over here. There is something funny-wunny. You're gonna figure it out eventually, past BorderWise. You're gonna... Yay! He did it! Yay! Excellent! He figured it out, everyone. He used his brain. He actually has one. Doesn't always use it, but yeah. Alright, so this is the point where we realize... Alright, so we don't have rail draw, so it means we have to be clever. Don't you hate being clever? I actually like being clever. It doesn't happen often enough for my tastes. Alrighty, ho then. So, nice, respectable. So this is also me trying to keep in mind that, look, you don't have to go max shell length every time for a 1 meter loader if what you want is rate of fire. I don't know the exact math for this because I guarantee you people have figured it out. Like, in the From the Depths official Discord, like, if you hunt around looking in the dark corners and stuff like that, you will find the people who have done the math to, like, the 10th decimal place. And they will tell you, like, emphatically, what APS size, like, what gauge and what length of shell and whatnot is best for everything. I never remember. And I just fumble around until I find something I like, which I feel a lot of people do. Or at least judging by the comments of people like, I don't know, man, I just played the video game. So yeah, there we got our plasma gun, and then we got our APS, which are the things you absolutely should design ahead of time, because it's a pain in the butt to try and squeeze them in there. I think I'm just, in general, kind of anti-retrofitting in general, because, like, I don't even like retrofitting my own designs that much. If I have to rebuild the damn thing, I would prefer to start over from scratch, which on the one hand is good, because the more vehicles you make in general and from the depths, the better you get. Well, the better you get at the game, because you just get practice over and over and over. You make literally hundreds of the damn things. And this is me trying to remember spaced armor. So honestly, just a layer of alloy beam slopes, and then 2 meters of alloy. It's not great armor. It is the least bad minimum armor, really, simply because, well, for something like this, which is meant to be very evasive, and is also going to keep its distance, this is basically going to troll people who like to, I don't know, who like to spawn in close and, like, deal with things, because this thing is going to be very bouncy and evasive. I don't know whether it's going to be a godly class design, probably not, because, you know, any decent railgun will knock this thing out of the air. I have a real problem with railguns. I think everybody has kind of a problem with defending against railguns, simply because, like, beyond a certain point, there's absolutely no stopping them. Except possibly, like, you know, you get at best a 40% chance of stopping them if you have, like, a decent shield projector, but apart from that, yeah, you're kinda out of luck, mate. So I need to work on that, because no amount of armor is gonna do it. The one saving grace with railguns is that they're so bloody expensive that you can basically, you know, out-ducker them if you do things correctly, but yeah. And this is the point where I'm like, okay, righty-ho, here we go, okie dokie, pig and a pokey, here we go, like, we have to just extend this, we have to extend the thingy, do-do-do-do-do. Just going to go there, and we have a longer turret neck, which is not ideal. It's not ideal at all. I don't like long turret necks because they seem kind of like superfluous, really. It's a lot of space that you could jam more ducker into, but sometimes a long turret neck is a good thing because you want to keep... It's mostly good just for keeping the turret cap small, because a smaller turret cap is harder to hit. And also, just from a stylistic point of view, which is actually important from the depths. You never want to make something in From the Depths that, like, it's, you know, technically good, but you hate to look at it. So, yeah, aesthetics is, the more I play, the more, like, you gotta appreciate that, like, even as you build it, to keep yourself motivated, the thing does have to kind of look decent. So yeah, we're just trundling along, doing the thing, doing the thing, doing the thing, doing the thing, and also typical BorderWise building moment happens because I decide, because this thing is kind of supposed to be like, you know, a plasma gunship of sorts, and the whole ding-dang idea, or at least like that the plasma gun should be in the middle. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? And it's like ends up being like too far to the front, and oh yeah, here's the point where I remember, yeah, mirror mode. If you're doing something that is asymmetrical, you might want to turn that off, mate. And yes, I didn't turn it off. I was most foolish. And hilariously, I end up redoing this part of the hull anyway. Or at least not that part of the hull, the other side of the hull. Actually, well done, past BorderWise, you did a good thing here. Yeah. Also, I could have just had that plasma gun, because it's on a turret, I could have just had it clipping through the side. That felt like cheating, and I didn't really want to do that. It felt too much like cheating, I should say. The rules for this custom campaign is very similar to Neater, in that there's limited shenanigans you can do. You can't do crazy things with spin blocks, because if you do that, what you end up with is like the planes from the Finest Hour custom campaign, and I don't know if those things have been changed. I think they might have been. Those of you who've played Finest Hour recently, which you should, by the way, because it is a bloody good campaign. It's bloody good. If you like World War II style craft, that is the custom campaign for you. It's very good. But yeah, like the planes are just, because they're like spin blocks to hell and back, they're very, very tough. And also, because like you can't have lasers or particle cannons like in that campaign, when they're in a death spiral, it takes like 1,000,000 years to shoot them down, which is a bit of a problem. Also, please excuse my terrible... Ah, damn it, that's the thing I need to do. It's the engine. Hang on, I need to remember to keep the engine tutorials coming. Completely slipped my mind. Alright. Continue engine tutorials. I think I know where I have to be with that. There we go. Right, so the engine there is just, you know, I use just because it's like, it's really straightforward. And because this is going to be a campaign faction design, it doesn't actually need to be super efficient. Because it just needs to be, you know, a fun thing to shoot at and provide enough of a challenge for the player to be, well, satisfying, you know? So... yeah, I think this is the point where I'm like, oh, damn it, the bloody plasma gun isn't where I want it to be. So instead, I make a giant-ass ammo compartment. You'll notice I was shying away from using heavy armor with this because it's going to be a helicopter. So no custom jets or anything like that. It's just going to have a big-ass rotor that, you know, keeps the thing, like, up in the air. And it's weird, like, you look at Neater designs and you don't really see many things like this, at least I don't think so. Which is probably a warning that I should, you know, I should take from the people who, frankly, are much better at me at the game. The people who, like, the people who make the designs for Neater are just so good. They're so good at building. But yeah, you don't see many alloy airships. You don't see many, like... front side. So when you see a flying brick in From the Depths, like in the style of the Grey Talons or the Scarlet Dawn or something like that, it's like really that. They're not made of lightweight materials. They're made of, you know, solid heavy armor, and they just use a lot of custom jets to stay afloat. And like, I still really haven't got the hang of making those, and probably something to do with just my building style and building habits. But like all the front siders I've ever made have been mostly alloy, and they focus more on evasion than just taking hits. Also, here we go with the changing of the mind again. It's saying like, you know what, this is not pleasing to me. I want this to be further along, just because. And probably also just is less messy with the actual blocks here. So unfortunately, we don't get a combat test of this helicopter. just so you are aware. Why was I so indecisive there? It's like, come on, BorderWise. It was so obvious. It was so obvious where that plasma gun was gonna go. So yeah, that's already like... It's not as central as I would want, but that's not a bad thing, because bearing in mind the center of the thing is where the thing is going to be aiming at, and now I've just remembered that's where the AI is. Whoopsie daisy. Whoopsie poopsie, but it's also like a big heavy armor compartment, so it's not that bad, I guess. Righty-ho, so there we're putting the steam turbines in the front there, which is not behind a layer of heavy armor. Hopefully that isn't going to screw us over. And we've got a bit of surge protectors touching the heavy armor, because why the hell not? Let's mess with things. What are you doing? And yeah, I was considering like having poles. And you know what's a good idea past me? Mirror mode! Mirror mode is a wily devil. You gotta remember what you're doing. And also, like, the top of this is just gonna be... It's just gonna be like empty space, because it doesn't really need to be filled with anything. This thing is a broadsider that is like, because it's flying, it's not likely to get hit on the top, or at least that's the hope anyway, because that's where the rotor is. You really don't want this thing to get hit on the top, because that would be very, very bad. Alrighty, so now this thing is starting to look more like a really big helicopter shape. It's gonna get there, and I am pleased to say that despite the fact that this campaign is known as Canoemageddon, I am pleased to say that there are not many canoes. It's the one time I name something, something like that, and there's no canoes here, so... I don't know, I need to step up my game and actually build a lot of canoes for it. The problem is that, like, a lot of the, like... Let's see, how many factions can actually work canoes in? Not that many. There's like, let's see, there's the Haugen Confederation. They can probably have a lot of canoes, because that'll be fun. Oh yeah, I futz around with the front part of this heli for, like, freaking ages, so... I end up loving the way this looks, because it, like, well, it doesn't look like what I usually do with things like this. Like, it looks, like, quite distinct. But yeah, it's like, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so Haugen Confederacy, they can absolutely have canoes, because, like, wooden boats are, like, totally their thing. Amphitasma, not so much, because, they might have an airship or something like that that can be canoe-shaped, but that's it. Swirl Republic, definitely not, because their whole shtick is, like, realistic looking, like, ships and planes and submarines and stuff like that. And unfortunately, you know, realistic battleships based on World War II, or more specifically Cold War designs, they're not canoe-ish. Apart from, like, the barest similarities of it. Then Glakave, they're, like, I want them to have, like, you know, hydrofoils. Specifically amphibious hydrofoils, because that's kind of the other thing that they've got going for them. Everything is either amphibious or it can fly. So, yeah, some amphibious canoe hydrofoils would probably be really good for them. And then we have the Stone Light Presence, which, if they have canoes, it's going to be, like, quite, it's going to be, like, flying, mystical, weird, alien-like canoes made of stone, which is weird. I've already kind of built a test vehicle for them. It's like, yeah, I need to work on stuff. I need to make, I need to do, like, the Starlight Presence is personally going to be very hard for me to make designs for, because their whole shtick is like, Ancient Aliens, kind of, because it's like an alien presence that lands on the planet and is damaged and gets confused and thinks like the remnants of long-lost civilizations are its masters and starts copying their art and architecture and stuff like that for the weapons and killer robots that it is supposed to use to take over the world. And yeah, so that is that's going to be like it's going to be hard for me to do, because I am famous, or perhaps infamous, for not being an aesthetic builder. It's not my strong point. Mostly because I think I'm slightly too easy to please with aesthetics, or at least when I'm building it, because I'm kind of lazy. If it's pointy at both ends, then I'm a happy chappy. Alright, and here's where I undo all my good work here, and yes, yes, flat, 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 flat. There we go, and there we have a helicopter shape, which, by the way, like, it is nice when your craft looks the size that it is, because, my big pancake turrets, so on things like the Drachenslung, which I really need to make a version 3 of that, like, really, I've been working on that on and off for ages, and I've yet to do, and I haven't finished it yet, so, shame on me, I guess. But yeah, so, like, because the turrets on that thing are so big, it looks smaller than it actually is, which means that when it's up against, well, the thing it was designed to fight, the Gimle looks massive. But when you put them next to each other, you realize just how enormous the Drachenslung is. I mean, it's very flat, but it is also very, very long. I keep putting off working on that damn thing simply because it's so big and it's such a pain in the ass to work on big things. You ever worked on a big thing on a Friday night and you just, you know, you get halfway and you're like, oh my god, it's just so big. Just, I wish, like, can you be finished, please? And then the big thing's like, no, I will finish when I finish. And this is the point where the video gets demonetized and people throw up and leave, I guess. So sorry about that. Let's talk about the helicopter some more. This is me working on the tail, because you can't have a helicopter without a nice, vulnerable tail to blow off. So this is probably where I'm going to jam the missile interceptors, because that's fun, and I like that. Okay then, so yeah, it's like not much to say here. Like, hang on, I'm going to actually look up what kind of gunship I'm talking about. So, right, and here's the fun bit. I don't know how to Google this. I don't know what question specifically to ask. So I'm gonna go over here. And I'm gonna go... What am I gonna go? How do you spell it? Iroquois? Iroquois helicopter. Okay, numbers built, variants. Okay. Okay, what is that configuration called? Variant overview. Okay. What the hell was it? There are so many bloody variants of the Huey that, like, I can't friggin'... Ugh. Damn it, how do you Google this? How do you Google this? How do you look up which variant of the Huey I'm talking about? The one with the, like, the gun pointing out the side. Helicopter... side... gun. Door gunner. Alright. Origins. UH-1BC helicopter. Okay, so early door gunners, one CH and one. Alright, so okay, I guess that's what it's called. It's just like when you have a door gunner. Medium machine gun. Alright. Right. Right. Okay, so that's, like, I have not learned that. I guess, like, it's door gunner, except... I don't know, like... I don't even know if there's a specific configuration. I guess this is a weird cross between, like... you know, a helicopter door gunner and, like, an AC-130. That configuration, which doesn't... I don't think it has its own name. It's just... The US military just calls that, you know, they just call it a gunship, because that's what it is. It's a ship with a gun. Wait a minute. This isn't a ship. You can't fool me, it's not even a canoe! Everything is a canoe before it's a ship. Those are the rules, I didn't make it up. That's what everyone tells me, because literally everything I've ever made is a canoe, according to some people. So, hey, some people are just going to be absolutely satisfied. Like, I could make nothing but things which are entirely square, like, in every single way, and people would just say, hey man, you're the one making it, so therefore it's a canoe. QED, I am correct. And I'll be like, damn you, internet commenters! I am unable to argue, because I don't have the energy. I'm too busy building canoes, and also, that tail is hideous now that I look at it again. I need to go do something different. And yes, so this is going to be a bit of a fake helicopter, in the sense that it's going to have jets hidden fore and aft, hither and thither, for the purposes of jet stabilization. And incidentally, if you're having trouble with making like a flying brick thrustercraft, start small and don't use custom jets, because custom jets have the huge advantage in that you can put them internally, but it means you have to plan ahead like really, really well. And speaking for myself, that's hard for me. It's hard for me and my brain. Also, I get 1 mark for remembering ahead of time that daddy blades, like just propeller blades, will actually block those, so you do want to make sure that they are offset. And yes, rolling, rawhide! Excuse me. Right, so here is the problem with making a big helicopter, is that there is a strict size limit to how big these propeller blades can get, to prevent cheese, grommet. So, what we're going to do here, or at least what I'm going to attempt to do, is to deco, like, more blade length on here, and try and match the pitch and all that, and this is probably something I'm going to have to change completely, because it doesn't mesh well anyway. And yeah, so we're gonna go over there, and we're gonna go over there, and going to do just messing around. And yeah, this is the thing, is like, decoration usually is something you should leave till, you know, the last stage, until your craft like really complete, so you don't have to undo what you've done. But also, if you do it as you go, that saves time later. With me, I definitely need to save it for last, because like, I tend to, like, do painting last, and the color scheme and all that, and then I'm like, then I feel like an idiot, because, like, if you mass paint using, like, the armor block switcher, what happens is that the mimics don't do the same thing, so yeah. Horribly ugly rotor, and I need to change this, like, immediately. And by immediately, I mean, like, that, I guess. So, thankfully, these are all in the same place, and just reverse over there. And that looks like ass, really, but, yeah, that looks acceptable, I guess. What I could try and do is make a more custom rotor involving spin blocks and wings. Those are a little bit hard to control. Still haven't entirely figured it out yet. Like, it goes up just fine, but the trouble is going down, because it doesn't understand what it's supposed to be doing. So yeah, that's the band. I'm going to hide those jets with decoration, by the way, so you'll never even know that they're there. Shh! It'll be our little secret. Be our little secret. Also, this is the handy trick you can do with glass. If it's painted on the outside, you can put unpainted glass on the inside, and it makes everything nice and transparent. And I'm probably gonna need to go hand this off to someone who's good at interiors to go, well, decorate the interiors. And so what we're gonna do here is we're going to stick to... Because here's the thing. I really wanted to get this thing just in the air so people could see it flying, and so I could see it flying, see how it looks, and I think it actually looks pretty decent. It's a big helicopter, for sure. And this is just me tweaking the heights of this. I could be super cute and, like, do that, but... And this is the advantage also with making, like, a bouncy... in this case, it's a broadsider, but a frontsider as well, same principle. making a alloy version of that because it means that it can change direction really quickly. It's particularly up and down because it has considerably less mass. So, yeah, there is part 1 of our lovely plasma helicopter. And I hope you enjoyed the building process, and I'm looking forward to the next part. I certainly am. So thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Support me on Patreon or YouTube membership if you like. It really helps, and there's fun perks in it for you. Thank you to all my current supporters. Please check out my second channel, BorderRRR, and I will see you next time in From the Depths. Farewell.